Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a good day. Today is we talk about Lumion 12 and its new features. And with all these new features, we're very excited to actually see them and show them. So let's get going. All right. So just looking at the agenda, there is a couple of ones that I'm actually physically going to show. The others we'll just talk about. But basically, the first couple is about lighting and details and 2D basic decals and billboards. Yeah, and then we'll talk about some new materials and that. I'll also show the live sync with Format Pro. Some of the improvements with regards to scene building and other changes. There's so many, so I'll just highlight a couple. All right. So okay. So there is also a update being released just in the week, 12.0.1, just with minor fixes that has come about with the main release. So just be sure to go to your Lumion account and then log in, and it will be available there to download. All right, so the first main one is the spotlight effect, volumetric. So basically, it's only in the Pro though. It allows you to see volume within your spotlights. I'll show it just now as well, things that you can use this for is like, as the picture shows, interior lighting, swimming pools within lighting within the swimming pools, vehicle headlights, and that sort of thing. Right, so very nice feature that they've added that increases the feel of your lighting. Right, and obviously that that allows you to go, or allows us to go over to the next slide, which is the color of the lights. Now basically that influences the feel of that room. If you look at the two images at the bottom, you'll see the one is very soft and the other one is kind of hard. So the one on the left, it's got more warmer feel, and the one on the right is more bluish, whitish tint. So it's kind of harsh, right? Cold, that sort of thing. So the lighting gives you the feel of perhaps the interior and that sort of thing. All right, so we'll show that as well in the following in the little demo. All right, and then another one is surface decals. That's basically a new tool that's been added in the effects that you can add 2D imagery to your well, not actually 2D imagery, but 2D information on your surfaces. Now, at this point, these are just predefined, so you can't add your own, but we'll talk about that just a little bit later. But at least it's been added, and it can be added to any surface. I've actually added it to a car, which I'll show, and it just wraps around the car surface, so that's awesome. Right, so even if the shape is curved, it'll also work, which is great. Okay, but it can be something like exposed brick, moss growing on the brick, chalk drawings, road markings, and just changes the feel of that surface for us. Right, then there's billboard improvements. Now these billboard improvements, you can add a billboard like a 2D specific person. As you move your camera, this person faces the camera, so it seems like it's a 3D object, but it's only 2D. But with this change, you can add a custom image, so which is great. What they've done here is they've added a little arrow with a text note that will always point towards the camera, which is great. I'll also add in the demo, I'll add my own little image. Right, so that allows you to describe certain objects a certain way, or even even if it's not a little graphic like that, you can import your own. You take a picture of the customer and you put it in as a billboard of the exact customer that you design your buildings for. All right. Okay, so then license plates. It's obviously a new thing. You click on the car, you set its license plate country of origin. However, there's no SA, so that is probably still coming. All right, but there's a number of other countries that it caters for. Right. There's lots of new materials, as always, which is great. And these new materials, there's a lot been added to the Pro as well as the normal. But there's also fine detail imagery that's been added. Now, the fine detail items, they basically it's basically trees and plants, but they have a higher resolution than the other components, trees and plants, but they're used sparingly. For instance, in that little picture on the left, that little palm tree in the middle and maybe the palm tree on the left, one of those, the front ones I'll just add as a high fine detail material so that they kind of stand out and then the rest kind of fade out. So if you've got something in front of you or in the foreground, have that as a high detail nature item rather than all the items. Then it, because these are bigger, it makes your model high, what do you call it, bigger and heavier, so you'd use them sparingly. But there's also new materials added. There's some outdoor, indoor, and others that they've also added. There's people and transport and things that they've added. There's also, well, we'll talk about that, but different way of grouping these components, but we'll talk about that, especially the trees and tables and chairs and different things. But right, yeah. So the live sync, as always, Lumion and Revit and Lumion and AutoCAD and Lumion and lots of other applications, ArchiCAD and SketchUp, and they all work together. And this is just another addition, Format Pro. Format Pro is like a very similar functionality than SketchUp, but it's added. There's a lot more, Autodesk-based information that's been added to Format, like Dynamo and lots of other information. So where Format fits in to the workflow is in the design stage. So you'll kind of create like block models, etc., and then use those block models, add materials and whatever. And in the architectural environment on the Autodesk side, you would then move that Format model back to Revit or forward to Revit to finish up and create the detailing and that sort of thing. So it's more design tool, can be installed on iOS or Android or even web-based app. So you can use it anywhere, and you create your little forms. Now this addition to Lumion is to just use LiveSync with that. I'll show you a little bit also how to download the little app and where the LiveSync application that or add on to Format and how it works. Right, then with the OpenStreetMap, they have included a rotation function, which is great, where we can rotate the content, so as to face north or south or another, just to give it a different. In the past we couldn't. So yeah. Right, and then the scene building experience. They've added many additions, not many, but 10 or so. And there's just on the left-hand side, there's I've just highlighted a couple. On the left-hand side, there's an image showing the nature, and within each item there is a collection. So they've kind of bundled them together to show more information in less space, rather than showing 3 trees next to each other that basically looks the same. They've just kind of grouped it in one idea, and then you can click on that and it'll open those 3 and that sort of thing. But so they've saved on real estate that way, and it's a good good enhancement. All right, same or some with the import and models and the groups within the importing item. They've added folders, and within those folders you can click on and it opens up all the information in there. They've also allowed you to sort this by date and time, which is great. So the most recent items will be at the top, and the older items at the bottom, perhaps. Right, groups. What groups are? It's basically it organizes your, or this particular new feature organizes your groups. Now, groups are basically a couple of objects put together, maybe a table and a couple of chairs, and you save it as a group, and you can recall it in future projects. This is basically just organizes this also better. Right. Okay. So going to the settings. All right. So there's lots of settings that have been added. The main one is the performance for your build mode. Now, within the build mode, I know personally, Lumion 11 was very heavy, and I had to set out especially my build mode. I had to set the editor right down to the minimum, but I can actually see the improvement now with 12, and the resolution of the editor has got certain, it starts at 50% and it goes up to 100, where the 100% are the old native Lumion real-time rendering, and then the rest is kind of a GPU upscaling. It uses different technology. I find my, the middle one there, the 67%, it's the perfect one for me. It's kind of balanced. It's a good quality, and the performance is also good. Right, I've just highlighted that particular setting, and then with regards to the other changes, there's a lot. When I do the demo, I'll show you a little bit of some of those ones in particular. All right, I've added the link there so that we can go and go there at a later stage. All right, there is also some additions and alterations with the new version, the 12.0.1, how they changed and what they've added there. All right, so I'll just go to Lumion now, and I'll open up just a new create new environment, just a plain environment. Right, now with this, I'm just going to go in and show you that editor setting. So if I go to the settings here on the right bottom, you'll see there's the editor setting, and the native one is the highest, and then there's ultra and the quality balanced. Sorry, that's the 59, which I use, and then this one is more performance. So I've got a quite a 2-year-old PC, but it still kind of runs Lumion now with the new improvements. All right. Okay, obviously the proxies, if you don't know that, it also helps with improvements. I think it's a Lumion 10 or 11 edition. Things in the background, it just shows as a block instead of the real object, and it increases your editor performance. Right, I've also put the trees a little bit down. Okay, so all right, I've got this going over here. I'll just insert a model. So at the bottom, I'll go import models, and I'll say place. And there is a, if I go to that villa, I'll just add that one. and I will just place that one over here. It's a sample. It's a sample model. I'll just place it over there for now. There you go. All right. Okay. So if I just zoom in closer. Okay, so I just want to show the volumetric effects, so what I'll do here is I'll just go and add a light. Before we carry on with this, you'll notice that next to my cursor there's a little green patch. That's just also a new feature that just shows you what object you are actually selecting. It doesn't highlight the whole thing. It's overbearing. All right, so it gives you a nice little idea there. All right, so I'm going to go to the lights, and I'll say place. All right, and I'll place, say, the let's place lamp 13. All right, so I'll just kind of place it over there, and I'll select the light, and I'll just change the target, the settings on the right. I'll go and say go to the target, and I'll just target it over here. All right, I'll say finish there at the bottom. Okay, so that's just a basic little spotlight. But now the volumetric information here is I'll do just now. At this point, it shows. I'll do the color as well. So here's the color temperature. So they've just added the color temperatures, so you can actually in Kelvin set it to a more warm light as opposed to a white light. All right, so I'll just give it a little bit of warmish information. I'll say okay, and that's opposed to the RGB colors that had been in the past. All right, so okay, all right, so now the volumetric effect, it's basically effect. So I'll go to the photo, and within the photo I'll just add an effects, and then within the effects there's some featured. I'll move to lighting, and there's the volumetric spotlight, so I'll select that, and basically it opens up on the left a selection area. So I'll just go to select lights, and I'll pick the particular spotlight. It's got a little cross on it, so as I pick it, it then enables that volumetrics. Right, so if I click OK at the bottom, it returns to the area here, and I can change the densities and the intensity and fall off and different things. Right, so it just gives me more functionality. All right, I have the little preview on in my settings, so it actually previews the screen if I don't do much, in a high quality, so the preview there has been updated. Okay, so that's the volumetric and the color, so that's quite easy to understand. All right, and then if I just now go to the surface, decals, I'll just approach this wall here. I'll go to effects, and I'll go place, or you can go place and then effects, depending on what you want. All right, so I'll just go to decals, and then within the decals under the effects is where you find the smoke and the fire and the fountains and that. So the decals, there are a couple of ones, and I'm just going to scroll down this. There's a thumbnail size which I can also just change. I earlier turned it on, so it's kind of large thumbnails, but you can also turn it off. Then you don't have to scroll up and down with this menu here. All right, and there's different ones. If I look at the road markings, there's lots of road markings that you can scroll. These days, that's also an enhancement. You'll notice I'm at number 1 there, but if I scroll down with the roller, it goes to number 2 or sheet 2. So you can just scroll up and down. You don't have to go and physically click on the number 2 or click on the number 1, which is great. Okay, so I'm on this area here. Just also to, you'll see there with regards to the collections, the improvement there. You'll see maybe wall stickers. If I click on that 25 or on that item, okay, now my mouse got stuck temporarily, but if you click on that 25, it opens up or delves into that item, and then there's all the 25 wall stickers. If you want to go up the level, obviously just go to the back and you're back in the main area, for instance. All right, so you go into that and you kind of look at a wall sticker or whatever of the earth, and you place it over there, and then adds it to that item. Just one other thing, if I do place a car, I just want to show you this. I'll just go to a standard car there. I'll just kind of place it on the driveway. I'll just rotate it around. All right. Okay, so there's a car. If I just go and zoom into it, and I go back to the stickers, maybe just you'll notice that this object, gets placed on the side of the shape of the car. So that's great. Okay, obviously there's a little bit of a cut off, but I think that's more the bend. But so not that you're going to do that often, but I just wanted to explain that if you do have curves in your model, it might it'll just sit around that item. All right, looking at billboards. All right, so look, just going slightly back, if I go to all right, so it's under utilities. So if I go to utilities, the utilities, then there's the character billboard, and I can place this item, and this item obviously I can color as well. If I just select it, currently it's just black, but I can change the color. I can go on, and then there's a color that I can change, and I can even load a texture. Right, so if I do load a texture, it basically allows me to pick another image, be it a signage, be it another person, that sort of thing. But if I just select our little logo, you'll see that that logo gets placed there. I'll just not colorize it, and then as I move, I'm just going to press O, and then as I move the screen, that image adjusts according to my position, the camera position. All right, so that's basically a billboard, but you can obviously load textures on these billboards, which is great. Okay, returning to the car, and I'll just kind of go here. I'll just rotate the car again. I should have just categories, just kind of pick the car, rotate. All right, I'll just rotate like that. If I go to the car, you'll see the license plate. I click on that license plate tool. It just allows me to select different license plates from different countries or states or different things. As you change it, you'll see the update on the license plate. These are the countries, so it's basically UK, that sort of thing, and right, European and American and Australia. Okay, so it's a couple of major countries over there, and you click OK at the bottom to confirm. Right. Okay, let's show the little live sync. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just close this particular model. So I'll just kind of save projects. I'll just create new plane environment sort of thing. All right, I'm going to, I have fired up format, so there's format. So what I'm going to do with format is I'll just simply just create something just to show you the idea. Obviously you can sketch. I'll just kind of create a kind of a solid form, and this solid form I'll just kind of click on the one side and draw it out, and then I'll draw a little line on the middle there, and then pick that line. So very similar to other softwares that you might you know, have used. It's got lots of other things. It's got levels. It's got areas and things that you can already kind of you know, look at. You've got brick and various other materials that you can assign, but I'll do that just now. All right. Okay. So I've drawn a little object, and perhaps you know, I'll just kind of click on this and just pull it in a little bit, just to give it a little bit of an overhang. That guy as well. There we go. All right, so I've got a little model, and at the top here there is a Lumion toolbar. All right, so that Lumion toolbar, how we get it into the software is we go to the Autodesk App Store. So it's basically, you just go Autodesk App Store, you'll get into an Autodesk area. You'll unfortunately have to sign in if you're not an Autodesk user, but if you are, you should have access. And you basically just search there for Lumion, and you will see various, I'll just say show all. So if you go Lumion, all right, there's actually all right, there's a Lumion live sync for Revit, and there's also Lumion, I'll say all apps. That's where I wanted to go. All right, so this is now the all apps for Lumion. There's one for AutoCAD, there's one for Revit, and then there's one for the Format Pro, which is the one we kind of currently have or busy using. All right, so again, if you use AutoCAD, then you download that. If you use Revit, you download that. If you use Format, then you do download that. Basically install it, and it'll then just appear in the particular software. Just remember, when you install, just make sure the software is closed. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move Format a little bit to the side, and Revit, oh, excuse me, Lumion, I'll just move to the side there, just to give you an idea of what I intend. Right, so on format, I'll just click on the start button. Obviously, you can export this, create a particular file type, and then in Lumion you can open that file type. But there's no link. So if you change something in Format, it doesn't update the Lumion model if you don't physically do that. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do here with the Format, I'll just say start. So what that starts is the new feature of the Lumion side, that it can do the live sync. All right. It just wants me to save, so I'll just save sketch locally, and I'll just put it under test. All right, so once it's saved, I'll just start that up, and as you can see, Lumion changes then in the background, and it will, there we go, Lumion changes in the background, and I will have the same particular model there as I have in on the left-hand side. If I obviously change the direction of Format, so does the Lumion idea. Right, so in Format, I'll just add some brickwork over here and over there, and as I am, it just kind of updates that with the same material on the other side. Right, you also have other roofing and materials that you can add to in Format that will just appear in Lumion as well. All right, so as you work in Format, it then just updates to Lumion. All right, so that's great. So that's a nice little feature that they've now added. Same as all the others, but this is just on the design stage. And normally in the design stage, you want to see what's happening with visually. It's a lot visual, so that's what you want to do. All right, so that's a great addition that they've made. All right. All right. So yeah. So that basically, I just want to minimize. It basically concludes our idea. All right. A couple of the other things that I just want to show. If I look at this link on the Lumion side, one thing that I missed out as I went through the billboards. Obviously the billboards added our Micrographics logo, but you can also add your own things that you make. But if you want to go and find additional content that Lumion or like billboards or other items, you can go here to the Lumion website, and you go to the Lumion community, and within the community here, this is kind of where you ask questions and get answers, and you can read up on information. You can go to the resources there at the top, and then within the resources there is a just want to see here where these resources are. Yeah, so they scroll here at the top. You'll see there's a scene pack that you can purchase from someone, but there is the official Lumion list of textures. Let me just go over you all, but it basically scrolls to the left and right. It's time-based, but there's an official list of textures, and then also of official list of 3D models. These are managed by Lumion themselves. So if I just go to the textures or the 3D models, first the textures. So there's basically a whole host of image and texture collections that you can go and visit, and you know, there are many that there are. Some of them are obviously free, some are pay for, so you'll just have to you know, visit them and check. So there's some 2D cutouts that you can go visit and go and you know, get other people, you know, other cars and you know, other textures that you can use, vegetation and things. So the billboards could also be vegetation, 2D vehicles, etc. Okay, and they're all in this particular site, they're nice and free. Okay, so just the other one, the 3D models. So if you want additional 3D models, just go and look at these ideas. Now, some of them aren't you know, geared for Lumion. They are just there. You need to just make sure and test before you kind of purchase, sort of thing. But so just read what they say here. Free models directly from manufacturers can be imported, so via the DWG format. So just make sure that you download in the DWG format. All right, and there's other three free models. So just go and test. There's lots of sites here that you can go visit. So it pays to just go and visit the Lumion community, be active there, and make sure you you know, read up on the information. All right, while we're here, yeah, so if you do go Lumion, just to give you an idea, if you go to the Lumion account, it's a little icon there. You can obviously then log in. If you don't, you create an account. All right, once you log in, you can go back to your kind of account. I'm just going to go back to that little icon. Once you're in the account, you can go to your license keys and then go and add your Lumion license there. I'm not going to go there because it might show all the information, but you can go in there and then from there download your particular newest license of Lumion, the 12.0.1. All right. And yeah, how I installed it, you don't have to uninstall your the other version. You can just simply install it. It will automatically kind of replace it on in the background. Right. So just talking about these other changes, there's a host of these videos that you can watch. Some of these videos are very informative, but you know, if I just scroll down to the bottom, yeah. So go through this. There's other changes and things that you can do. Right. So there's a lot here that has changed. As you know, some are very small, but they talk about the billboards and the different things. All right, so and then the selection, the highlighting of the item. All right, if I just scroll down, there's a whole horde of other items. All right, anyway, so I'm going to stop there and talk about, so, there's a whole lot of other changes that that have been added, smaller ones that aren't as, large and effective, but the small changes can increase your productivity a lot. All right, so a lot of these visual enhancements have increased or allows our the result to be increased in the quality, as well as all these smaller little changes allows us to work faster to get to that result. So, and I think that's the idea with Lumion. It's a very easy program. The enhancements that they make has two things in mind. One is to improve the quality, and two is to get there faster. All right, and I think this Lumion 12 is very good. All right, so if you've got any questions, just let me know. I'm going to stop the recording, and you can type in your questions in the chat box, and we'll take it offline. All right, so thank you for attending.